Welcome to It's Getting Better All the Time, Mental Health Outreach with Sister Arnetta Legree and myself, Sister Corrine Kelly. And this is a faith-based organization providing information and support while encouraging hope and faith. You can reach us at www.igbathmo.org. Today we're still talking about your purpose, right?
You want to keep that? We've been on the road here doing things, and we're just kind of getting back on track. But we're definitely happy to be here. Good to see you,
Good to see you too,
Evangelist Kelly, and we're just glad to be here again. Today we're going to be talking about purpose. And no matter your age, no matter how you may feel physically, you were created for a purpose.
Yes.
And if you're listening to our voices, then you have to know that God has you here because your purpose has not been completely fulfilled. If you are breathing, you have a purpose.
Yes.
If God didn't have a need of you, then you wouldn't be here.
Right.
You may have a mental illness, physical illness, or a negative life situation. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't let those things stop you.
Right.
Having a problem is not the problem with God, because He can use you no matter irrespective of the problem. The problem is when we stop there. God has a plan for our life, and we can move forward. But we're going to look at today, why can't we move forward? And those of you who listen to us or watch this broadcast know about our function. Our purpose is to provide information and support, like Missionary Kelly said, encouraging hope and faith. But we really want to encourage those of you with a mental illness or a negative life situation, because sometimes we can get so stuck in those problems that we have. And we all have problems.
Yes.
Some of us money problems, man problems, women problems, health problems, mental health problems, all kind of problems. So that's
problems.
Yes, exactly. That's something we all can share, whether you're rich or poor. But the thing is, we all have to know we can't get stuck in our problems.
Right.
So the question is, why can't we move forward? And the first thing we have here, Missionary Kelly, Evangelist Kelly, is what we focus so much on our problems. We focus so much on what is wrong to the extent that we can't move forward.
Yeah, that just like a person that has, I'm going to use this as an example. They're hungry, and all they can talk about, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, the pain's got me, I'm so hungry. All they see is the fact that they're hungry, but they're not looking at what can I do to resolve this hunger. It takes responsibility, it takes movement, it takes directions.
That's right.
Okay, to be able, and so same thing with this. Whatever the problems are that we're going through in our life, it's not so much the problem as it is how I can solve this problem, who can help me solve this problem, and what I need to do to get this problem solved.
And that's the thing, we never get to that part. We never get to that problem solving part. We just kind of focus, just what's wrong, I don't have any money, I'm broke, I don't have this, I'm sick. And we never get to that point where we begin to ask those questions, okay, is there anything I can do about my problem? There are some things, the only thing that we can do is come to an acceptance that this is what I have.
Yes.
Right? When you look at having a severe and persistent mental illness, you get to the point where you begin to accept, yes, I'm going to believe God for healing, but I'm going to believe that God is going to do it in His own time. And I'm just going to accept what God is doing. That doesn't mean that we're giving up. Because a lot of times people will say, I'm just going to believe God, I've just accepted it. But their attitude is bad.
And part of that is, well, it is what it is.
Exactly.
I've heard that so much. And so to me, it is what it is means it's never going to change. This is it.
Right,
so
exactly.
I might as well just wallow, go ahead and just wallow
Right,
in it.
yeah.
No.
That's
It's learning how to endure through it.
And you can endure because you know that Jesus Christ is your anchor. And when you know that Jesus Christ is your anchor and you're convinced that He loves you, you're not just praying or hoping that things will turn out. Well, I'm praying to God that He'll give me $1 million. That's a wonderful prayer. But when your prayer changes from having $1 million until you begin to see Jesus Christ, you begin to pray to Him, He becomes your anchor. So that if you don't get the $1 million, if they didn't call your name, or however they do that, scratch off, whatever, how that works, they don't call your name, you still know my anchor's in Jesus Christ, and I can trust Him. And because I trust Him, I know that His word is good, I know His thoughts towards me are good, I know that He will commit commit those things, those things that I've committed to Him. That He'll strengthen those things. He'll make things good for me because I trust Him. And I'm not so focused on the thing that I'm praying for.
And we may, and since she mentioned, we may be talking to someone that have not accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. Well, in St. John 3:16, it says, "Well, God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, whosoever believe in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And you said, "Well, I'm perishing now." No, you may physically feel like you're perishing because of the things that are going on with you, but God can give you peace in the midst of every storm that you're going through. We can go to Him. He gave us a promise that if we acknowledge Him in all of our ways, He would direct our path. He also let us know that when we go through, what would not happen. He said, you go through the water, it will not overflow. You go through the fire, you won't be burned. But I can't accept that. I don't want to use the word accept. If I don't believe that, then I can't appreciate it. Okay? And you say, well, if God loved me so much, why did He allow me to be sick like this? Well, let me say this to you. Because of the fall of man, sin came in. And so we're all going to go through things. And as long as we're living in this world, in this earth, in this human society, we're going to be going through problems. Right. He gave us a promise that when we go through, He would be with us. He also let us know, as we go through these things, that we can cast all of our cares. One thing that I appreciate about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is, some people say, well, you can't question God. Some say you shouldn't talk to Him. Like, I can go to Him just as mad as I want to be. He can deal with it.
That's right. He's not going to break down because I got an attitude with Him. Yeah.
Right. But in being able to get that off of me brings a relief, and then I can better hear Him. I can better enjoy His peace. I can feel it. But as long as I think that I have no one that cares, and I'm in this, and all I see before me is problems, and not the one that is my problem solver, then I'm going to stay dealing with the problems. And the problems look like, the more I dwell on them, the higher, the bigger, the wider they get. They don't have to.
Yeah. And that's what happens when we dwell on something, because our mind just keeps going around and around and around in circles. That's the problem with worry. Because when we worry about, how am I going to pay my bills? Then suppose I get put out. If I get put out, what shelter will I go to? I hope it's a nice shelter. I hope they like me at the shelter. And you haven't, none of that stuff has even happened yet, but that's what worry does. It keeps you going around and around and around. Worry can be a good thing if you do, like what you were saying earlier, as you begin to, what am I worried about? What is bothering me? And you begin to write those things down and come up with an active plan. How am I going to, what can I do to solve this? What can I do? As opposed to just letting your mind wander. Because as your mind wanders and we dwell on negative things, you'll always find something to dwell on. You'll always find something, to worry about. So God does have a plan for our life, but why can't we move forward? Why can't we fulfill that plan for our lives? One, we focus so much on our problems. It's not the fact that we have a mental illness, that we have a loved one with a mental illness, that we're in jail, that we have a loved one in jail. It's not the problems that keep us from moving forward. It's the fact that we focus on them so much that we become stuck and we don't go any further with the problem.
So that's, and to give you an example, you got two people that's thirsty. One of them, all they can do is keep talking about how thirsty they are. I'm so thirsty. My mouth is just so dry. I'm so thirsty. I need me some water to drink. Look at me. I haven't drank no water so long. My skin's so dry. But then you got this one over here. They're thirsty too, but they didn't gone and got the water. Okay. So what actions are you willing to take? And then the next one would be, we make excuses.
And that's what I was going to say. That ties right into making excuses.
I would drink it, but I just don't like water. Well, my question, I asked someone this one time. They said, well, I just don't like water. I said, well then, why are you complaining about your skin being so dry? I said, water is what you need. They said, well, I can't go to the bathroom. Well, have you drink water? I don't like water. I said, well, then don't complain about not being able to go to the bathroom. Right. I said, so what are you going to do? Wait till you get older and start having kids? I'm going to have no, don't say that. Don't say that. Are you doing what's necessary not to have kidney problems? Well, I drink the Pepsi. Tell me, did the Pepsi help you? I said, when you get finished talking about all the carbon, I forget what they call it. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no.
Okay.
That's in the sodas and all those other things that's going on. It has a taste to it, it's true. Well, water tastes nasty. Well, water don't have a taste. What are you talking about? You know, so, I went through all these things, all these excuses that they were making from not drinking the water.
Right. And then that's what we do. We make excuses. Is the Republicans blame the Democrats blame the Republicans. The white people blame the black people blame the white people. Mexicans blame the white people. Everybody blames. The woman blames the man blames the woman. I would if this didn't happen. Things would be better if this didn't happen.
If I didn't have all these children.
Right, exactly. Right.
I don't have but one, but all these children.
Right. The single person blaming the married people blaming the single.
Yes.
The thing is, at this point, we all have situations and events, and we all have hands that we were dealt. Some people we may think have better hands than others, and that may be true. But whatever hand you have dealt, you have to understand that is no limitation of what God can do in your life if you begin to yield to Him. Because He is not limited by those limitations. But we can't keep focusing again on the problem so much, and then we start making excuses that we never move forward.
And then we live in the excuse age. We say, well, if I had the money that they have, they might have the money, but you don't know how miserable they are. Okay. Well, if I lived over there. Well, as I told someone else before, you can move to any geographical area you want to. If the mindset has not changed, all you've done is taken the same problems. So the area might look different, but you're going to run into the same type of issues until you make it up in your mind that you want to do a mind renewal. And go to the point you say, Lord, cleanse my heart.
That's right.
Okay? There's just some things we need the Lord's help in doing if we want to do better in our lives.
Right. And when you talk about the mind, and again, let me say this. When we're looking at mental illnesses are brain illnesses. Okay? Just like the heart can be sick, the kidney can get sick, our feet can get sick or whatever. The brain can get sick as well. The eyes, right, the brain can get sick. So what happens with the mental illnesses, when the chemical imbalances, the maladjustments within the brain, they begin to cause chemical, like I said, imbalances and bring about different illnesses or different diseases. That's different from when we're talking about the mind. And many times people will say, you just need to have a mind renewal, which is true, like you just said. You put your mind on Jesus. The mind is different from the brain. You have to understand when having a mental illness, if the brain is not functioning properly, it will be difficult to think clearly. It will be difficult to kind of to keep your mind on Jesus Christ, so to speak. That's why it's so important to take the medications and kind of keep that balance. But no matter what, Jesus Christ, if you set out to say, I want to serve God, I'm going to put my mind on Him, God will help you. You may not do it to the same degree that I'll do it. I like what you were saying earlier about the different levels. We were talking about earlier about people being in school. Some people be at the first grade level, some people at the third grade, some people be at the fifth grade. Whatever level you on, God will work with you.
Right where you are.
Right where you are. And you may never come off of that level, and God will still work with you. So the thing is, we don't want to get mixed up with the brain as well as the mind. Because people say, well, keep your mind on Jesus Christ, you won't have these kind of thoughts. But the thoughts emanate, what we talk about, from the brain, from the chemical imbalances in the brain. So we don't want to kind of get those two mixed up. But whoever you are, okay, you can have a renewed mind. Your mind can be renewed. And as your mind becomes renewed, we mean renewed. Those negative thoughts, those thoughts that think you won't be able to make it, that you won't be able to succeed. The power of Jesus Christ, the gospel, can renew those thoughts with the word, as you use the word of God.
Okay, now the renewal I'm talking about with the mind is instead of the negative thoughts, and instead of the making excuses of why I should not take the medicine, my mind renewal said, because I want to live a better life, because I want to be more effective in my life, because I want to be more productive in my life, because I want a more peaceful life. Yes, I'll take my meds so that I can think right to be able to do those other things. Because when, as she said, when the chemical imbalance is off, is to use the word a friend of mine used to use all the time, you're so discombobulated that no, because the brain is discombobulated, then you're not going to be able to think. Some people, their brain, in the brain effects of an accident, they may think well, but the other parts may be off to the point that it makes the body shake, or certain parts of the body is not functioning to the degree that it should. But because of their mind renewal, they're still able to be pleasant.
Right.
Okay, still be able to laugh and still able to be a joy to be around. So what we're saying is, even in that physical part that's off, if you will allow yourself to do your part,
right,
then you have something better to work with. God can still work with you. He can work with you either way, but it can be more easier on you. Okay, as an because he got it either way.
Right.
You know, if you choose not to take the meds, he's still gonna give you his breath. He's still gonna let your heart beat. But if you take his breath, then you can enjoy your heart beating. You can enjoy, if you take your meds, you can enjoy your heart beating. You'll be able to enjoy being able to walk out and see the sunshine and see the beautiful clouds in the sky. But whereas when the brain is not functioning right, you're not sure it is a nice cloud out there. Right. You're not sure of the sunshine. So this is what we mean when we're talking about the mind renewal. And the mind renewal, once you get the brain balanced, it will help you to better be able to think.
Right. And the thing is, because when we talk about the thoughts, I think we were saying earlier, is one of the things that has to be renewed, because the thoughts, you may not be taking medications, but you have negative thoughts. You know, so you can take all the medications you want, but if your thoughts are still negative, you're still going to be a negative person. Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors go together. So as you think a thing, that's how you're going to start feeling, and that feeling is going to impact your behavior. So when we talk about what keeps us from moving forward, it boils down to how we think. You know?
And please, whatever you do, don't think that negative thoughts are just with people with severe or persistent mental illness. No, there are people that work every day, educated and got great jobs and nice cars and nice homes, but then living in fear because of their thoughts. Because they have all these things, but they're still depressed. You know, so we don't want you to think that when we're thinking about thoughts, that only negative thoughts are with people that have a mental illness. No. No, we as human beings have a tendency to think negative.
Right. To think negative, and then once you start thinking negative, people will say, "Oh, I just feel bad." Well, why do you feel bad? I don't know.
That's that negative emotion coming in.
But then when you begin to start talking to them, okay, let's think about what happened during the day, or what happened. Then you begin to think about, you see what they were meditating on. Well, if I'm meditating on negative things, I can't help but to feel negatively. I can't help but to feel sad or feel anxious if I'm thinking about anxious thoughts. So the thing is, why can't we move forward? Focusing so much on the problem, making excuses, allowing negative thoughts and emotions to overtake us. Like you said, we all from time to time have negative thoughts and emotions. Some of us, because of our personality, are more negative, more prone to think negative, or more prone to kind of to react emotionally. But all of us have that. The thing is, all of us have to get to the point, we have to begin to take a look at how is the thoughts. How am I thinking? Am I thinking helping me in my life? These thoughts that I'm having, are they moving me closer to where I need to be, or are they taking me further away? And if they're if you say, yeah, they're moving me closer, are they moving you closer, but are you still not happy? Are you still stressed out? Are you still anxious? Are you still worried? If you're still having those kind of thoughts, then you're not Better All the Time Mental Health Outreach with your host, Sister A.L. and
Missionary Corinne Kelly.
God bless you. It's Getting Better All the Time Mental Health Outreach is a faith-based organization designed to provide information and support while encouraging hope and faith. You can find out more about us by logging on to our website at www.igbattmho.org. Today we're going to talk about the term psychiatric or nervous breakdown. When people say, "Oh, he had a nervous breakdown," or "My nerves were bad," or I broke down," what does that mean? Now, first of all, when we look at from a medical terminology, there's no medical terminology nervous breakdown. That's a word that a lot of times we use, people use to say, "My nerves are bad, I had a nervous breakdown." But many times when people say that, they're referring to the point that I had a nervous breakdown, meaning I became so overwhelmed, I was so stressed out that maybe I couldn't sleep, maybe I couldn't eat, maybe I couldn't concentrate or do things that I used to do. So when we talk about having a nervous breakdown, people use that term differently depending on where they are. You know, and when people say to me, "Oh, I'm taking these medications for my nerves," well, what does that mean? Or I had a nervous breakdown. What does that mean? That means different things to different people. But essentially, when they say that, they're referring to some type of mental concern, either I was really nervous, I was really anxious, or something that was going on with them. Okay, you were going to say?
Well, that's interesting because that we always relate it to quote unquote our nerves, right? Or they gave me to use one as an Davlon to quote unquote calm me down. You know. They don't say I'm very anxious and overwhelmed with anything. It's my nerves are bad.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really not. You know, now that you're explaining, it's really not so much the nerves as it is an emotional and mental breakdown. Exactly. And I think it's so important that we understand that, because just now that we're doing this taping, so many things have happened just in the last few weeks. I think we had a situation where a lady, seemingly a nice lady, well-adjusted lady, her reports, her and her husband were having financial problems. We got a report that she shot her 14-year-old daughter and killed her husband. We had another situation where a mother killed her child. And we have this situation with these men eating another man's face. So a lot of things are just going on. And when you look at these people, or you hear the stories, we automatically think, oh, this person, they just snapped. We use the word just snapped. You know, again, what does it mean when we say that somebody just snapped? You know, it did, but it's not a thing of just like I was to take a pencil and just snap it all of a sudden. It's a trickle down effect of a lot of emotional and mental things that was adding up. Basically. You know, and they just got to that point where they were overwhelmed and couldn't take anymore. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we do the show, to get people to understand, to kind of take a look at what's going on in their lives, take a look at yourselves, so you won't get to that point where your soul become overwhelmed and can't take it anymore. Because like you said, we use the word snap, but that's not at that moment, but it was a gradual build-up. You know, build up financial concerns. I lost my job, this issue. And it's different with different people, because some people could lose their job and not have any money, and they can make it, and then someone else, you know, could have the same situation and then just snap. So when we use the term, it depends on the individual, it's relative to the person.
Their capacity of endurance.
Right, exactly. So it's so important is that when you find yourself or you see someone else having difficulty sleeping, one of the things that we always look at are changes and how a person used to operate. Changing and sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, eating too much, eating too little, you know, poor concentration,
more agitated,
exactly, than usual, mood changes, either more irritable, more depressed, more withdrawn, you know, all these things are symptoms or can be changes that you have to pay attention to. You know, whether it's in yourself or it's in a loved one. So it's really important when we look at being a mental health advocate or taking care of ourselves that we notice these types of things.
Yeah, because we're at a time where we pass too many things off. Oh, they'll be all right. They're just going through a little phase right now, and then that phase more than we know, could be already at that point, but we don't know it because where our acceptance of certain things is beyond what it needs to be. When, as you said, that what would be that person's normal stamina, and then all of a sudden there's a change. You know, we just pass it off rather than, are you okay? Can we help you? Can I direct you where to get some help if need be? Alongside the fact that the person that's going through whatever the situation is, a lot of times they say, oh, I'll be okay. They themselves are in a denial state that anything is really going on with them.
And you said it, I mean, it's so important that we have to kind of take care of ourselves and take care of each other. When we look at, especially what's going on now, when we look at the financial concerns, many people are out of work, many people are losing their jobs. You know, we talk about, you know, when you listen to the politicians, they say things are getting better. Well, I'm sure they are. But for some of us, for many of us, things are not getting any better.
That's
You
right.
know, you have so many people are still out of work. So many people have financial issues, losing their homes, worried about their children. So there are just so many things that's going on.
Yes.
And when we talk about snapping or having a nervous breakdown, some people are already psychologically, if I could say this, on the edge anyway.
Yes.
Some people are already predisposed to having a mental illness. So when things begin to build up, it really pushes them over the edge quicker than it would maybe somebody else.
That's right.
Like you were saying, the endurance, the ability to endure certain things. So we don't want to underestimate or overestimate.
By any means.
You know, you want to, if you're a friend, you see something going on, it's okay to ask, hey, how are you doing?
Yes.
You know, do you want to talk? And even, just if they don't want to talk, you talk to them. How are things going? Just to kind of, hey, anytime you want to talk, I'm here for you. To kind of understand, hey, what's going on. Because it's definitely hard out there. And we, I think many times, especially in our community, we're so busy working, we're so busy trying to stay alive, we're so busy, trying to keep things together, that we, again, overestimate our strength. Because I'm used to dealing with this. I'm used to, especially, and when I mean our community, within the Black or African American community, well, I'm used to making do. I'm used to doing this, and then we get used to it, we keep going and keep going and keep going, not realizing that we may not snap psychologically, but we snap physically.
Right.
You see, they talk about the overweight, you talk about the alcohol use, the drug use, all of this type of stuff. It's another example of how a person can snap. We have so much stuff going on with us. So again, we don't want to underestimate what's going on.
Yeah, even to the point of when an individual don't want to deal with their own issues, they can get overly involved in other things as a way of escape from, and I'm going to use this as an example. I'm looking at situations now where they continuously fasting and praying and for denying meals for 3-4 weeks at a time, and then all of a sudden they go into a fast, and then I'm fasting. Well, the body needs to be rebuilt. Okay, and unfortunately they can use that as well as an escape. They don't see it or recognize it as an escape. They're so involved. I'm going to do. They're denying the responsibilities that they need to be doing at home, or denying the children at home because they busy, quote unquote, gotta go to church. And that's where there needs to be a balance. You're wondering what's going on, why the children, and every time, where's mommy? Mommy's, mommy gone. Was mommy going to do this for this, and mommy running here and there, but mommy's not taking care of, in some cases even daddies, not taking care of situations they need to be taken care of because they don't want to deal with. They're so overwhelmed with their own situations that they're looking for a way of escape, and they begin to take on unnecessary tasks.
Right. And one of the thing about it, when we look at the Bible or think about the gospel, is all about a balance. We can use a good thing, hide behind a good thing. We look at, we were talking earlier about the drug use and how people are using drugs as a way to escape. Escape from what? Escape from how I'm feeling at the moment. Escape from my environment. I'm stressed out, I need that extra edge at work, so I'm taking drugs to help me to escape, from that down feeling. So everybody wants to escape from alcohol. TV, which could be a good thing, can also be an escape. Not confronting an